Is the institutional buy pressure the beginning of the next bull run? Are we headed back to all-time highs for Bitcoin? And is it time to start accumulating Bitcoin and other altcoins? Okay, we're going to cover some fundamental analysis of the market. We're going to go over news, and I'm going to do an in-depth dive of my Bitcoin chart and analysis to show you where my projections are, what I'm seeing with the market, and what my personal game plan is. Okay, so if that sounds good, make sure you hit the like button on this video, subscribe to the channel if you're new and you like crypto trading and investing. Okay, check us out on Discord, TikTok, and Instagram. We have an amazing trading community, but let's get into it. Okay, so right here on my screen, I have a daily chart of Bitcoin. Okay, there's so much to unpack. There's so much going on. Okay, but I want to start with the raw basics of what institutional money is doing and what we're seeing on our chart. So from the beginning of 2020, when we got our massive bull run to the upside, we can see one major thing that stands out to us, and that's this 200-day simple moving average. Now, if you don't know, the 200-day simple moving average is used by large investors, institutional money, to determine the overall health in serious levels of support and resistance of the overall investment vehicle. So on Bitcoin, you can sort of see, historically speaking, if we go out to a weekly time frame, when we got our pump in 2017, price was riding along that simple moving average, and as soon as it broke under it and got resistance, this was sort of the 2 to 3 year dormancy cycle where cryptocurrency was pretty weak, Bitcoin was pretty weak, until we got a break above that and some support. Then we started to get some momentum back into crypto. Okay, and you'll see right before we got that massive push to the upside, we were also trailing right along the top of the 200-day simple moving average, and then we got that parabolic move up. Okay, once we got our second attempt at all-time highs and a capitulation in the market, we tested the 200-day simple moving average right here, and then price continued to trade down until we got our bottom here around $15,000 on Bitcoin. What we're seeing now that is pretty bullish, and we're seeing a lot of the sentiment changing on the institutional side, and some of the retail participation is flowing back into the market. Okay, we broke up through this 200-day moving average, caught support along the top of it, made another move, and we caught support again, and now it's about to break over this previous high and potentially into a new zone of price discovery. Now, let's take a look at the secondary thing that I was watching, which is this resistance level here. Okay, so we can see this was an area of resistance to turn support, turn resistance here. Okay, we got a big pocket of resistance before the buying pressure pushed seriously through this trend. This is where we got our first level of support that was quickly broken, and now we're testing that level again along this area. Now, if you know much about trading or you're in the trading space at all, when something's support and flips and turns into resistance, okay, the more times it starts to reattempt and test that previous support turn resistance, the more likely we are to see this price action break out above this level, catch support on the top of it, and make a bigger move to the upside. So a little bit later into the video, I'm going to do some more technical analysis on this move right here to help us determine where I personally think Bitcoin could move in the next 6 months to a year. But it's basically going to be based off of the premise of Elliott wave theory, which is also the same thing that allowed us to see the exact top of Bitcoin and almost the exact perfect bottom of where it bottomed out before we're moving forward. If you haven't seen this, this is going to blow your mind, so watch this. Anytime I'm seeing big moves up in the market, I want to identify an area where there was a big trend break. Okay, so we have highs getting lower until we get a big push up, which to me is telling me that this move is obviously a break of a downtrend into a new uptrend. Okay, and a lot of people could say, okay, this top was completely random, but the market is constantly moving with mass human psychology. So we can use tools and we can use instruments to predict this top. I'm going to show you how we predicted the top of Bitcoin using these tools, and how I can probably use it again over here on this move, where once again, we do have a downtrend broken to anticipate where we can see Bitcoin moving in the near future. So the next thing that I want to do is identify a wave count. Okay, so assume this is where we see Bitcoin and we're trying to find exactly where the top is. I can use this tool here, my trend-based fib extension, and start from the exact bottom of this level here and go up to the first point where we got a major pullback in the market, which is going to be right here. And I can put my second level back at where we started over here. Okay, so now that we have that set up, that's going to mean that this is our wave 1 down to 2, that this is going to be 3, 4, and that the top of the trend is either going to max out at 161.8, which is around 65,000, or 261.8, which is going to be at 100,000. moment. Now, largely the reason that I didn't take complete profits at this level was because this 261.8 level was also at a major benchmark number at the $100,000 mark. There was potential for Bitcoin to move even more parabolically up to that level, but nonetheless, we're looking for the 161.8 or the 261.8 off of our trend. Okay, so once again, if we play this forward, we can see this was the exact high point before we got our first pull down, a retest, and then we got the price to dump all the way down. Once again, following our Fibonacci indicators from this low up to here, which gave us an exact test of this green level, which is this 61.8 Fibonacci level. So even though all of these things are happening because of people's emotional responses to the market, we can use these indicators and use these tools to anticipate what's going to happen moving into the future. So that's exactly what I'm going to do over here. But sort of putting the technical analysis to the side, there are fundamental factors that are moving the crypto market that we sort of need to unpack in order to see why this move is happening and how much follow through we can expect to see. Okay, so over the past several years and just recently in the past couple months, large institutional firms have been submitting SEC filings to bring Bitcoin into ETFs, which would allow Bitcoin to be packaged into people's investments for their retirement and people who weren't so tech savvy to be able to get exposure to the cryptocurrency market, which would drive a ton of not only institutional money, but retail money into the crypto space. So as of June 30th, Fidelity submitted an application. We have Invesco, WisdomTree, Bitwise, all sending applications in order to try to make these Bitcoin ETFs. But still, we have the US SEC massively reluctant to let this happen. And because institutional money has probably been loading the boat during this massive drop off, any sort of hype or hope they can get injected into the crypto market is going to already pump those institutional bags. And so now smart money is basically waiting on the sidelines, trying to prod at this bear to reawaken it so that they can pump their bags. Okay, and so while it is sort of bearish that the SEC keeps pushing back on this, what this is doing is it's legitimizing institutional adoption of cryptocurrency and letting everyone know that even though search volume and retail participation in cryptocurrency is down probably 85-90% since when Bitcoin was at all-time highs, we still have massive players in the game quietly loading their positions and continuously filing to try to get these instruments to be able to be more accessible to the masses. So we can see every time Bitcoin has taken a major leg down, okay, the losses of the long-term holders have typically only peaked around 30 to 40%. So we kind of have this rolling average here. Now, if we look at the most recent history on this chart, okay, the long-term holders of Bitcoin is now sort of entering that same threshold from where we saw the beginning of the bull run in 2020 and the beginning of the bull run in 2016 and 2017. Okay, you can see as Bitcoin drops, the long-term losses get bigger and bigger. So we do look like we're entering that area where if this rounds off and creates another valley, we're looking for another big push in Bitcoin. All right, so once again, just to sort of reinforce this idea, every time we have these big pushes in cryptocurrency, you can see the long-term holder supply tends to drop. Okay, all-time high here, holder supply drops. And right now the long-term holder supply is continuing to accumulate. So it looks like we are gearing up for that next leg up. So it's always good to sort of zoom out and just look at the overall picture. Okay, right now we have institutions accumulating and pushing to try to get Bitcoin adoption. People in the retail space all still think that cryptocurrency is a scam and everyone has sold and sort of forgotten about it. And yet off of these lows, we've already went up 105%. So honestly, do you really think that we're not ever going to see all-time highs once again on Bitcoin? Okay, if we're making 100% move to the upside while no one's paying attention to Bitcoin, imagine what happens when ETFs do get passed by the SEC, banks start flooding into the space, retail starts pumping, and then it really only takes one fundamental thing with the US dollar supply or interest rates to push this back up, and in my opinion, well above all-time highs once again. Now, I don't think this is going to happen immediately, so let's use the same analysis that we used before to predict the Bitcoin top, and let's use our technical analysis to see where we could potentially end up in the next 6 months to a year, assuming all of these things sort of fall into place. All right, so let's go into a daily chart here and do our same Elliott wave analysis. Okay, so we have our overall trend break right here. Price action is above this 200-day moving average. Okay, so this wave structure right here perfectly follows the Elliott wave theory that we trade when we're day trading and that we always reinforce in our private community. So I'm going to explain exactly what we're doing here. So let's start with our wave count again. Okay, we know that this is our 1 to 2 to 3, 4, and then 5 is going to be somewhere up here. Okay, so I could take a Fibonacci retracement off of this wave 1. Once again, seeing that we basically got a 61.8 touch, but we barely made contact with it on the 1 wave, which means we're going to be anticipating the 161.8 on a larger time frame with our investing. If it goes below this green line, we're going to go for 261.8. This has always been very, very reliable on a daily to weekly time frame, a little bit less so on the day trading side. All right, so this is definitely our 1 wave here, and what we can do is take a Fibonacci retracement off of this overall trend and see that the price basically came down and touched that 61.8 level, which means we're going to be targeting the 261.8 projection on our investments. Okay, so I'm going to go back into this trend-based fib extension. I'm going to click off of my lows here up to the high of this 1 wave and back down. And if we look, the top of 3 has perfectly interacted with this 161.8. Okay, and this is the thing that is confirming to me that I think we're going to get another large up on Bitcoin before we get a move down, because before what I was doing was anticipating that maybe this could be my 1, 2, 3, 4, and then wave 5. This is blown through our projections, which basically invalidates this being our wave 1 and sort of seconds the fact that this is going to be our thesis. Some of the biggest rules in Elliott wave theory is rules of alternation, meaning if this trend is simple, this one should be more complex. That's checked off. Okay, another rule is that wave 3 doesn't have to be the longest wave, but it can't be the shortest wave. We can see right here, wave 3 is already longer than wave 1, so we've checked that box off. And another big confluence is the fact that wave 4 doesn't dip below this 1 wave here and respects that level greatly. If we go over to our macro Bitcoin chart previously, you can see our wave 1, 3, 4, and then extended 5th wave up here. Once again, 4 is coming in and really respecting that 1 level, and we had a perfect response off of the top. Okay, once again, we're getting that 1 level very much respected by that 4, and a move up in 5 is now what I'm expecting on this. Everything else is agreeing, which means that if we can confirm the break of this 3 level here, I wouldn't be surprised to see a move up to the 261.8 projection, which would be at that $40,000 psychological level. Okay, another really important thing to note, and this is something that we use when we're day trading on like the 1 minute to 5 minute time frames and trying to profit off of really small crypto moves. Okay, we're gonna look at these 2 lows here, which is sort of this contradicting downtrend that has just been broken out. Okay, and we can draw a parallel line across these 2 values. So if we bring the upper parameter of our channel up into this region where we got support here and resistance, okay, this is going to be an exact intersection point where we could expect to get some sort of resistance again here at the exact 261.8. So not only do I want to hold Bitcoin up to this level, but if this does happen, this is going to give us a perfect level to dip by Bitcoin. And we can see previously, if we anticipate that this is going to be the high of Bitcoin, we can see this price action responded extremely well to the 61.8. Okay, off of the 38.2 level, the high of 3 responded very nicely. And we can see my fake consolidation that I completely guessed ran along the 23.6 level. But nonetheless, what we look for is the price action respecting these previous levels, which we see here, indicating that this probably will be a critical level for Bitcoin. Okay, if this happens, just like we saw previously, usually with Elliott wave theory, we're going to get a retracement to at least the 50 level or the 61.8 level, which is once again going to come right in the area of 1 and 4, which is also what we expect in Elliott wave theory. So not only is this going to be my long-term area to be adding to Bitcoin to play to the upside, okay, but if this level does hit off perfectly, we can take this off of a swing trade here, have a stop loss set, and try to take this down to 4x our money on the way down. Okay, a lot of people don't know this, but you can trade the crypto markets in both directions, and regardless of the direction of the market, we're profiting money. And that's what we do on the private side with our private trading team. Okay, so in summary, institutions are pushing to get Bitcoin adoption. You can see accumulation increasing. You can see the long-term holder losses starting to peak out, and we're getting a perfect Elliott wave theory indicating that we could break up to the 40K level before we probably get a push down to this area and accumulate. Now, personally, I've been accumulating in the 15 to 20,000 range this entire time. And I was saying this to the private team as well. I won't be adding anything until we see this formation made, because it is very well possible that this whole thing could fail and we could see this run down and sort of see a dormancy cycle if we do hit any more sort of major economic crisis overall with cryptocurrency or with the US in general. But anyways, guys, I just wanted to fill you in on what I was thinking with the crypto market. It's been a while since I did an overall analysis of the market. Okay, if you enjoyed this video and got some value out of it, make sure you put a comment and let me know what you think about my analysis. If you think I'm wildly wrong, if you think I'm wildly right, let me know in the comments. Like the video if you're still here, subscribe to the channel if you want to follow along and be updated with what we do here in our community. Once again, check out our Discord, Instagram, TikTok. We have an incredible trading community. That's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, but until next time, I will see you all in the next one.